Good evening, everyone. We're going to do some of this Joe Dever's Lone Wolf series of books I read when I was a kid. Well, they've got this game now out on Steam. I guess you can get it elsewhere too, but Joe Dever's Lone Wolf High Definition. So I played a little bit. It's definitely a story-driven game. It's very cool. We're going to go ahead and start up a new chapter and carry it through. So we'll start new game. We'll go with normal. I tried normal. It's more difficult than I thought, but once you get used to doing mouse gestures and stuff like that, it should get easier. I didn't play very far, so I'm sure it'll be a while before I'm very proficient with it. Okay, so we'll leave it on normal. Turn my headset down. Alright, so here we go. You are Lone Wolf. Your life is not an ordinary one. You assess and counter all challenges with... And what was nice in this first part, picking out your background, kind of reminded me of some of the older Ultima games where you answer questions and that determines your strengths. So this was kind of a nice throwback to that, but later on it definitely has kind of a lone wolf take on it. So this is just explaining that your multi-choice. So as you get these questions, the multi-choice menu lets you choose your path and write your own story. Pay attention on what you decide. Your actions shape the world around you. Click each icon to display its description. Click the flashing icon at the center of the page to confirm your choice. Oh, and it just circles through. So then it says, I encounter all challenges with... So you rely on your dexterity and intuition. Always prefer a straightforward and decisive approach, although it is often reckless. You carefully assess the details of any situation before attempting to overcome any obstacle. See, last time I picked straightforward and decisive. So, maybe one day I'll play through with that. But for now, I'm going to go with the thinking things through a little bit, because I learned that as fun as reckless can be, it's not necessarily the safest choice. We'll go with that one. And so it says, I encounter my challenges with intelligence. So many are the battles you have fought in defense of Summerland, wielding your, and you pick a weapon. So the axes are balanced weapons regarding damage and speed. Swords generally do not inflict high damage, but they are easy and quick to use. The maces are heavy, crushing weapons. They are slow to use, but they inflict high damage. I went with the sword last time. It's just because I prefer swords. I mean, it seemed okay, but I think I might go with an axe this time as my starting, just from balance of speed and damage. Nah, I like the speed. I'll go with speed. I'll go with the sword again. I just like swords. That's me. Just me. It's a me thing. So it says you are more than a gifted warrior. You possess special Kai disciplines that give you mastery of. And then here you get to pick about like 3 different powers. If you did the books, if you ever did the books, like the book, you got 1 Kai power per book. This actually starts you off with a couple, and I haven't really seen. There's a couple spots where it says, you can do something based on a power you have. So it's real similar to the books in that regard. So let's see, make your choices. This first one, I could have survival combines the skills of master tracker, hunter, and explorer. And then healing restores your health and improves your meditation. I'm going to go with health, just because knowing me, healing is good. Although from what I saw, you don't actually get to heal yourself. It's more of story choices that come up if you have the healing skill, can manipulate the story. So it didn't quite work the way I thought it would be, but still it's useful. So make your choice. Let's see, we have another Kai discipline. So Mind Over Matter lets you manipulate objects in your immediate environment. And then there was Mind Blast and Mind Shield. Transform your mind into a powerful psychic weapon and psionic shield. I've always liked Mind Over Matter type of stuff for lifting rocks and things. So, because I know before when I've played like D&D and things like that, there's always something that would be nice if you could just levitate a rock over somewhere and drop it. So I'm going to go with Mind Over Matter. And then I get able to perform extraordinary martial feats due to your mastery of weapon skill. Or you can pick Animal Kinship. Enables you to communicate with and influence most animals. I'm going to pick this sword just because I need every little bit of extra help I can get fighting. And let's see here. Last, we've got Sixth Sense enhances your natural intuition, helping you to identify and counter unseen dangers. And then Camouflage enables you to blend into your surroundings, enhancing your stealth and secrecy. I always like Sixth Sense. Anything that might give me some kind of edge, I'm going to go for it. Camouflage would be nice too, but just something about a Sixth Sense, you know, is that dangerous? So we'll go with that. So there I am, that's my character. So you are more than a gifted warrior. You possess special Kai disciplines that give you mastery of healing, mind over matter, weapon skill, and Sixth Sense. For Summerland and the Kai. And there's my wolf. And that is my character sheet. So that's the disciplines I've chosen, my thinking, weapon mastery, and then my actual Kai disciplines right there. And then there's my character. So I'm going to confirm, check. Then we'll move on into the actual story.
For many centuries, the Kai Lords defended their kingdom of Sommerland from the Dark Lords of Helgedad. Many battles were fought and won by the Kai, but finally came their demise. 3 years ago, the monastery of your warrior order was attacked by the armies of the Dark Lords. The Kai were destroyed. You were the only one who survived the final battle. All seemed lost, but you retrieved the Sommersword, the one weapon that can slay a Dark Lord of Helgedad. You slew Zagana, the Dark Lord leader, and saved your kingdom from destruction. Now, the lesser Dark Lords hunger to take their revenge. It falls to you, the last Kai Lord of Sommerland, to crush their evil schemes once more.
Alright, here goes the story. So this just tells you about turning the pages. You can either drag your page, or you can double click the right hand side of the page, or the left hand side so you can go back a page. And then there's this bookmark symbol. You pull that up and then you can access your character information. I also saw that there was actual hotkeys, so like the C key would pull up your character sheet, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of information that you have. So this isn't like your typical choose your own adventure book I've seen. Is actually pretty detailed for the style of game that it is. Alright, so let's move on. So you are Lone Wolf, the last of the Kai Lords and sole survivor of a massacre that destroyed your elite warrior order. You would prefer not to be where you find yourself now, in a narrow mountain pass, blanketed with crisp snow, flanked by shadowy timberlands where icy winds whistle through the branches and chill you to the bone. You would prefer not to be here, but duty has called you to this remote part of your domain. You are the free Earl of this territory, and you are responsible for the safety and security of the hardy Summerlanding folk who live and prosper in this harsh mountainous borderland. So here's my bookmark. There's my stats. Well, this tells you a little bit about it. So health, your Kai power, endurance. So I've seen as you play, different things you do will drain from those bars. And then your book interface, character information, your map, backpack. And then what's cool is it's like a lot of other role-playing games. You'll have your inventory, but then you also have like some quick slot bars. And then depending on how you what armor you pick up later along the way, it'll give you more slots on your quick bar. So you start with 3. So we have already a heal potion, and then one that does your Kai power, and one for your endurance. But then there's like settings and stuff. Does that pull up my character? Yes, it does. There's your character sheet. We'll go through some of the details of that stuff later. I didn't go through all of everything as I went along, so I'm sure there's probably things I should know, but I haven't really taken the time to understand. That's my fault. I like to figure stuff out as I go along. Sunburst. Yeah. Okay, that's your sword. So this was cool too. You have the Summer Sword. I don't know whether I don't just call it a sword, but that's like your main weapon as a Kai Master. And I guess this is the first power you start with, but you can earn more. So this must be, that's pretty neat. And then what's this here? And these are my Kai powers I have. If I click it, oh good, it tells me all about healing. Oh, I can use it to heal, and it costs 800. So I can do that outside of combat too, or maybe that, I think I could probably do that in combat. Things to figure out. Things to figure out. I should research more first, but sometimes it's funner just to dive in. Okay, so let's just get reading here. That must be. It kind of makes me think of like your tabletop. Here's my character sheet off to the side, and here's the actual adventure over here. All right, so here we go into the mountainous borderland. So you have received a disturbing report of enemy activity around the mining village of Rockstarn, and all communication with the village has ceased. Fearful that the settlement may have been attacked by Gaiax and other Darkland raiders, you have come here to assess for yourself the true situation. After a seemingly endless trek through snow and ice, you have almost reached your destination. Your horse becomes increasingly nervous as you approach the outskirts of the mining settlement. Turn the page. And I love this old artwork. When Baby decided to wake up, like, oh, I'm just gonna record a little bit, and then Mama scooped her up. All right, we'll do a little bit more and then quit. Baby takes priority over gaming, so we'll wrap this up here pretty soon. So anyway, there's the artwork. We'll just do this. Okay, so the smell of wood smoke is being carried along on the chill air, and its acrid aroma unsettles you both. This is not the reassuring smell of smoke that arises from hearth or furnace in the depths of winter. This is the smell of wanton destruction. Your heart sinks. You have journeyed here as quickly as the harsh weather would permit, but despite your valiant effort, you may have arrived too late. Make my choice. Alright, choices. So, it says... Oh, I don't have that discipline. So, of my powers, you decide to be careful and proceed on foot, or do you want to waste any more time, or you don't want to waste any more time, you urge your horse to gallop on. Well, this time through, just to do different, I thought I would go with the decide to be careful and proceed on foot. So I'm going to be careful. So just like the old Choose Your Own Adventure books, that's my first choice there. The forest clings to the deep mountainside on both sides of the trail. The ground here is very difficult to traverse on foot, and impossible on horseback. It comprises jagged rocks and loose shale interspersed with treacherously deep and narrow fissures, and they are all covered by a blanket of ice and snow. It will be a very difficult route to take, but if you were to always keep the trail in sight, it would be a sure way to reach Rockstarn. You dismount and pat your horse's head reassuringly. Then you retrieve your equipment and personal items from the saddlebag. The horse senses that you must leave him now and go ahead alone. He neighs, softly yet sadly. Fear not, dear friend. You have fulfilled your duty with courage. Now you must return alone to the monastery where you will... Turn page. Be safe. Go as fast as you are able. We shall be reunited there before too long. Your horse lowers his head and affectionately he nuzzles your shoulder. His unquestioning love and loyalty warms your heart. With a last pat of his forehead, you send him on his way, back along the track in the mountain road that leads to the Kai Monastery. You watch him go until he is lost among the trees. Then you steel your nerves and resolve to reach Rockstarn as quickly as you can on foot. You tackle the difficult ascent with dexterity until you find that the way ahead is blocked by a vast wall of snow. This obstruction is the result of an avalanche that swept down the mountainside a few days earlier, carrying with it many trees and loose boulders. The village of Rockstarn lies beyond this great wall of snow and shattered timber. What will we do? So, of my options, I can be safe. So you feel there must be a way to clear the snow itself from the path. It's going to be dangerous, but you decide to climb over the avalanche. And I don't master that discipline. I don't remember picking this one either. That might just be a choice. So of my Kai disciplines, I'm going to feel there's a way to clear the snow itself from the path. So I'll just tell you, not to spoil, but when I chose the Reckless Abandon last time, this is giving me a completely different story, even here at the very beginning. So if you do play through this and you look for replayability in your game, this definitely has replayability just from the first few choices. So very cool. So now I got to push the object. Awesome. Action event. Making a decision through the multiple choice menu may trigger an action event. Be ready for anything or face the consequences. You can choose how to interact with action events in the game settings. You can choose between keyboard or mouse interaction. It's mouse by default, or at least it was for me. In order to perform a charge action event correctly, click repeatedly on the central circle to charge it until it's filled. If you don't fill the circle in time, it will disappear. Alright, so it's going to be over here. So I just got to click, 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 click. You examine the wall of snow and discover that a large section is being held in place by a boulder perched precariously on the edge of a steep decline. If you were able to dislodge this boulder, the snowy wall of its section would collapse. It would create a gap through which you could pass to the far side without having to make the treacherous ascent to the summit of the avalanche debris. Nice. I hope that means I cleared it. You scour the surrounding trees looking for a solid branch that you can use as a lever. Fortunately, you discover an ideal bow, strong and straight, and set to work fixing it in place behind the boulder. With all your strength, you pull on the end of the stout branch and feel the boulder start to move. There is a loud noise, like the rumble of thunder, and suddenly the boulder falls away into the decline and the snow behind collapses, burying you completely. Fearing suffocation, you struggle to free yourself from the grip of this crushing white prison. After what seems like an eternity, you break through to the surface and gulp down lungfuls of cold, fresh air. Well, I didn't want to get buried, but I did. You came close to being suffocated to death, and this near-death experience leaves you feeling shocked and acutely aware of your mortality. As you regain your composure, you see that the way ahead is now clear. A V-shaped cleft has appeared where the snow wall has collapsed. You traverse the gap in the avalanche, but you are brought to a halt by something black and metallic protruding from the snow. It is the hilt of a sword. From its crude shape and black metal pommel, you deduce that it is a Gaiac sword. With your hands, you scoop away the snow from around the sword's blade, and you make a gruesome discovery. The tip of this Gaiac weapon is embedded in the frozen chest of a little boy, 7 years old at most. You bite back your feelings of anger and revulsion. Carefully, you remove the caked snow from the child's brown hair. From his head and from the fragile shoulders of his innocent victim, you are filled with a great sadness when you see the look of sheer horror that is frozen, literally, on his tender young face. Gaiacs! A small pendant hangs around the child's neck. It is made of some lending gold, and there is a name inscribed on it, Sarek. You retrieve this pendant and put it safely in your backpack. Then you cover the dead boy's body with snow and say a prayer to the goddess Ishir to keep his spirit safe from the forces of darkness. You salute the boy's icy burial mound and pass through the gap in the snow wall to the far side. You are now less than a mile from Rockstarn. Beyond the gap in the avalanche wall, you find the village trail. It is open and clear of obstructions. You start to run along the trail to Rockstarn, mindful that you have lost too much time already. You follow the road as it snakes gently through the high timberland, and it is not long before you see the path straighten as it approaches the entrance to Rockstarn village. A whirling gray spire of smoke is rising into the cloudy sky above this ravaged settlement. It is being carried along by the icy breeze that whips and howls through the main street. A rustling sound makes you freeze in mid-step. Slowly you turn to face the sound, and you see a pair of hooded amber eyes staring at you from the cover of the snowy foliage. They are the eyes of a wolf, an old male with a distinctive patch of white fur in the center of his forehead. You sense that the rest of his pack is close by. The wolf pack leader nuzzles his way through the foliage and approaches you. Nice. Love the artwork there. Oh, my son's coming over. He wants to see the artwork. I like the style. This reminds me of the old book. The old books, the artwork wasn't quite as nice as these as I remember, but I like kind of the hand-drawn, inky look to them. And it breathes like a living picture. It is pretty. I like it. Then it says, his thick gray body fur is highlighted with gold-colored hairs that ripple and gleam as he draws closer. He is a powerful hunter, yet you have no need to be afraid of him. With a narrowing of his wise eyes, he warns you that great danger lies ahead. Yes, my friend, you murmur quietly. And then the wolf says, yet face this danger I must. Here are my people. Oh, no, this is still you talking. They are my pack. I am their leader, and I must protect them. Oh, the people are your pack. All right. So now we get to the main map. So this is what we'll do. We'll quit here on the main map when it gets to the traveling sections. So here's for those curious, this is how the world map works. The world map lets you decide which narrative section to unlock next. Pay attention when you choose. Some decisions can't be undone. It also lets you access the merchants you have unlocked. The world map can be accessed from the tome interface. Meditation is the skill that Lone Wolf uses to rest and recover vitality points, endurance, and Kai power. You can meditate only before leaving your current location before triggering a new narrative section. If you are ambushed while meditating, you'll start the combat session with your Kai powers on cooldown, which is not good. Then it says here, while moving on the map or during meditation, there's a chance that you will trigger a random encounter. Alright. And then it just cycles through again. So this is what I saw last time. It takes 15 to 20 minutes per section that you read, and then each chapter has several different sections. So, you know, instead of just going through many sections at a time, we'll try to do like one recording per section. So this was character creation and section 1, getting to Rockstarn to start your adventure. So we'll end it here. The world map, like if I click on this completely, you know, then you can kind of see everything. You can't actually click and travel from here, but it does give you an overall picture of what we have. I honestly don't know if the entire adventure is just contained within here. I think it is. So I've heard that maybe there's 6 to 8 hours of content, depending on how long it takes you to do combat and all that stuff. So this could make quite a few episodes, or, you know, we'll see how it goes. But again, just looking at the artwork, it's what I like. I mean, it's not high fancy 3D graphics and stuff, but sometimes just having that old-fashioned book style is pretty cool. So we're going to end it here. Alright, so anyway, thanks for watching, and you know, in a day or so maybe we'll put up another episode to watch through the story. Alright, see you all later. Bye.